Today I've got the Bambu Lab A2L, but you might notice, in the same way that Forrest Gump pointed out that Lieutenant Dan ain't got no legs, this printer ain't got no filament. So the reason for that is this right here, which kind of looks like a pizza box, but is not a pizza box. This is the cutting module kit, which has an MSRP of $69, and Bambu did send this out when they sent the A2L a couple months ago for initial testing and review, but I'm still under no obligation to say anything, do anything, make a video, or anything. I want to see how it works on this printer because it's relatively affordable. This printer is relatively affordable, and that adds a lot of versatility to this printer. But the cutting kit itself is not new. I've never used it, so you're gonna have to learn with me as I set it up, but it is also compatible with the H series printers, so I am curious if I like how it works with the H2C, and maybe I can see if it sort of like lives on that printer or gets swapped out with that printer. But as much as I love the A2L, this is actually my last video with it because, as I mentioned in my initial review, I'll be donating it to a local middle school's engineering 3D printing program, so that's gonna be super cool. It's gonna have kind of a fun home over there, and I just don't have space for a lot of printers, which is actually why the cutting kit is pretty awesome. So this has a cutter and a plotter. That means it can cut materials, and it can also draw on materials using kind of any kind of pen or anything like that, a marker, whatever. And I really, believe it or not, like stickers. I don't know if you can see all the stuff that's like totally covered in stickers over here. And I've been interested in making my own, and I've ordered custom stickers and stuff in the past, and I've even looked at like, Cricut machines and cutting machines, but it's like, I don't want another device, another machine, another thing that's going to take up space. So the idea of maybe, depending on how this works, being able to use my 3D printer that I already have as a cutter or even also a plotter, I think is actually pretty cool. So with something like this, I think there is a bit of trial and error that everyone just has to go through because there's so many variables in different types of projects and things that people are working on. But in general, it's designed to cut and work with heat transfer vinyl, removable vinyl, reflective decal sheets, cardstock and greeting card paper, faux leather like PU leather, and real leather and plastic sheets, although I would imagine the thickness plays into that. If you have a thin piece of leather or canvas or whatever, I'm sure it's fine. If you have like something that's super thick, probably not. So you have to kind of fine tune and experiment, trial and error with the types of materials that you want to use with it. So let's open it up and see what we get in the box. It also came with this, which is a weeding tool. So I don't know, gardening, we'll see where that plays into it. We have everything very neatly in here. So here is the cutting module itself, cutting edge. So in here we have, this is kind of, the star of the show, I guess. This just goes on the, the tool head for the printer, and now instead of extruding plastic, it can cut different materials. But we also have the pen module. I'm not 100% sure how this works, but I believe, it came with some markers here. I think you can put any kind of marker or any kind of pen in here and then have it draw or plot. And I was kind of wondering, like, wouldn't that just be what a printer does? Like, not a 3D printer, but a regular printer? And I guess the answer is yes, although from a more artistic or specialized point of view, you can use, specific types of markers. You're not just using inkjet or laserjet printers. You can use, pens, markers, brushes, all that kind of stuff that might be really specific to the thing that you're trying to make. You can obviously then layer things in different ways that might be a little more difficult to do with a regular, a regular paper printer. And I guess you could also do it on different materials. So if you wanted to plot on leather or whatever, okay, that actually, I'm seeing the value there. So I think this is actually very easy to install. We'll do that right now. And then the trickier part, or the part I am genuinely a little baffled by, is how do I tell it what to do? How do I get it to print things? We'll have to jump on the computer and kind of tinker and figure that out. So in addition to these things down here, we have the plate itself. So this is a cutting base, which looks like, like a regular print plate. It actually looks like it is, yeah, it's exactly the same size as the one on the A2L, which means it's the same size as the H2C. I believe it is smaller than the H2S, and I think also the H2D, but you can still use it with those printers. It just doesn't take up the full bed surface. But on here, this has a strong grip side and then a light grip side. And I need to watch like the tutorial videos as we do this, but I think that's, when you put your materials there, you don't want them to move around. That's the part I'm so curious about, because I don't have a bird's eye camera on either of these printers. So how does it know where to cut? Like, I don't want to put a, print out a sticker sheet that has a design on it, and then it cuts out that design, but the design is printed here and it just does the cutout over here. So I don't know how to, I don't know how that works. So I'm just gonna watch the installation video and then we'll get started. I always recommend watching Bambu's instructional videos from the first time I unboxed my P2S and everything in between. They have always been super helpful. So it says the first thing to do is raise the Z-axis about halfway up and then put on the other plate. I'm gonna keep this protective film on here for now. There we go. Okay, our next step is to just pop this off and take this little guy out. I think this is actually way simpler, at least with this printer, than I expected. I just have to open this and then slide this down, close this, and then back here, there's a little port you connect it to the right way. And I think that's it. I can take this little cover off here, and then I'm going to turn on the printer and we just do some calibration, which as soon as I turned it on, this popped up. So we'll just tap calibrate, and we did that, we did that, we did that, and boom. Place the cutting platform. Oh, remove any materials. So I guess that would be this, which they did say to save. So I don't know if you're supposed to put this back on every time or not. All right, and now we can start. Ouch! So the printer ran through what looks like normal calibration movements, and it was actually pretty quick. There we go. So that took about, I don't know, 2 to 4 minutes, just like it said. If we tap on here now, we can see we have the fine point blade and no printable file. So that's gonna be the next thing to figure out. I think this was the easy part. And now figuring out the software side of things so that we can actually, print something and try it out and cut something. I don't know, I'm nervous about this. So this whole thing seems to be based around a piece of software called Bambu Suite, which is different than Bambu Studio or Bambu Handy. So I'm on my Windows PC. I'm going to install the Windows version. Okay, so this is Bambu Suite. I've installed it and I just logged in with my normal Bambu account. So hopefully this suite will help us make a sweet project. Oh, thank God, there's a sample project. Double click and edit the text. Oh, sweet. Sweet. Cutting edge. Yo. Yeah. Oh, so, okay. So these are all different shapes, I guess, that would have been added into this project. We've got stars. We've got this is buck. Okay, so we select them all and we click attach and then prepare. Why is this so passive aggressive here? This, instead of just saying next, it says I know next. I don't know this. Okay, look, we get a little tutorial video. We'll just try this on paper for now, because that's what I got. All right, I thought I had some cardstock, but I don't. Should have been better prepared. I do want to try this on something that's more than just printer paper though. So I do have some photo paper. How's it grippy? Oh, that's pretty grippy. This is not sticker paper, but that's pretty grippy. That doesn't seem like it's gonna go anywhere. And there's this thing here that says blade with this line. I think I'm supposed to align this paper with that. And then it says to use a roller to make it go down evenly, but I don't have a roller. So it said to open the Bambu Handy app. And then this kind of has the outline of the build plate. So you just try to line that up, I suppose. Oh no, I'm too short. What we can do here is click obtain, and I think it'll obtain that photo. Oh yeah, it did. Oh, okay. See, this actually makes a lot of sense now. I can take this and position it where I want on the actual photo of the material that I'm using. So let's just, it doesn't really matter. We'll just put it here, I guess. Okay, the next thing just says click make. So let's go. I know I shouldn't be shocked, but it is just cutting. That was so easy. It's super fast too. I've never used anything like this. This is blowing my mind. There's a little part that lifted up there, but I don't know. That's okay, right? Because that's stuff that's supposed to come out. I don't know. Okay, so done. What's gonna happen when I lift this? Is it just gonna part of it's just gonna stay down there? Yes. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. In this case, the intent is like the negative space. So basically it's like I made it, it's backwards, you know, but I made a greeting card. It really did a good job with these like fine details. For the next attempt, I did use the photo paper again and I printed out the logo for my adult rec league hockey team, the Puck Hogs. And now that this is printed, let's pretend that this is sticker paper. And now we want to cut out the shape of this. Let's figure that out. Now, I did find this wiki instruction that kind of explains how to do this, like making stickers with the stuff. And so, in theory, what I think I end up doing is adding this to Bambu Suite, printing it on my normal like paper printer, and then putting that same paper onto the 3D printer and having it cut around that. So let's see. Okay, so it says click on the image and then click on the sticker tool. Hey, oh my God, it just created like a stroke outline basically. The thin is pretty good. This is what I would want. Actually, I have paid for printed stickers of this and they look kind of like this. So let's do this. And here comes the moment of truth. Oh no. That's not working at all. Now, the issue I'm running into is just trying to get it to cut out like the outline of the shape and not the whole shape. And here's what's happening. As soon as I add the image, you see this little orange exclamation point? If I click on that, it says the processing type of this object is not suitable for the printer. Please change it. The process type up here says print then cut, which is exactly what I want. And if I click to change it to something else, it says there are no available processes for the current object. My thought is that because the A2L, which will also apply to the H2C, does not have the bird's eye camera. So if you have like the laser modules installed, you have like, there's like an overhead camera in the printer and it can kind of see everything and align it. So I think I found two ways to work around this. One involves essentially a duplicate image. I'm using Photoshop in my process. And the other is sort of tinkering with the vectorization here. And I actually figured that out later. So here is my Photoshop strategy. I have the image in Photoshop. I'm going to size it down here and just center it. This is the PNG. So this is what I'm going to print. We'll print that right now on my regular printer. And then what we're going to do, just so I can see this a little bit better, I'm going to turn this down and now add a stroke outline to it. And then we can make the stroke outline bigger. Then we will save this as a new image. And now going back into Bambu Suite, and I guess on this one we'll actually have to remove the background. Okay, that wasn't hard. We still have this error icon, so let's trace it. And now I'm tinkering with these sliders. Basically, I just want the red outline on the outline. I don't want it like inside because then it will cut out the thing. And that seems like it's the brightness threshold. So if I turn that up, now it looks like it's only outlining the outside. Confirm. Okay, we have this goofy looking thing. That's perfect, I think. And if we go to the group and we turn this off, now, here we go. We got our cut here. And then over here, when we go to the Prepare tab, we can auto arrange it and we can update our photo. Boom, there's the new photo. Here's my new design. So let's just scale it up. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's way better. And remember, you're exploring this with me, so mistakes are being made for sure, but that's kind of part of the fun of it is it helps me learn because you can just tell me, hey man, you missed that button that would fix your problem right away. Or conversely, if it's like, here's what a beginner's experience is like with this stuff, then maybe Bambu can find ways to make it easier or less, less likely to mess up. Higher chance. Oh my God, wait, it's done. Boom. That was that was pretty quick. So this method worked significantly better. This would be absolutely satisfactory for a sticker in this case. There is a little bit of fuzziness around the edge here, but I think that's because I was using thick photo paper and I told it that it was just generic sticker paper. So if you actually put the correct thickness of everything, that shouldn't happen. And so in theory, this would be a sticker. It's not perfect, but you know, for the first try at a custom attempt with some software limitations, it's not bad. There is a setting to cut through or only cut part way through, which basically means in this case, I wanted to cut all the way through so that it would have this shape. But if you have like a sheet of stickers and you don't want to cut them all out, but you want to do the thing where you can peel the individual stickers off. But I really did want to try to find a way to do this in the software, and I think I kind of figured it out. So I still have this issue. It wants it to be a basic cut, but I can't turn it into a basic cut, basically just the image as it is, which seems a little bit silly. So if I click on my image and I click on sticker, this lets me turn it into what I do want. This is exactly what I would love it to cut out, is this shape here that's like so detailed and wonderful. So we'll confirm that. But then what we'll do is we'll right click on this and we'll merge it. And now it's a little hard to tell because of the shape here, but I think we've merged the sticker outline and the image itself. And now what we can do is we can actually either right click and go to process type or just go up here and select basic cut, and it will let me do that. And now that error is gone. And so now I have this sort of outlined image here, and then that will cut out in more detail exactly the way that I want it to. So this is probably the easier solution overall, but at least there's kind of two ways around it, I guess. The workflow that I want, and maybe that's possible, is to take an image like this, put it into the software, convert it into a sticker using the print then cut method, and then just be able to print to my regular printer. So that way, you know, this paper comes out, it has the design on it, and then since that software is the one that printed it, I put it here, I take the calibration photo, and then it's able to cut out that design that it printed. To me, that's what makes sense, and that's what I was expecting it to do. But every single time I turned it into a sticker, it gave me that error message of like the process not being compatible with the image and all that. And I could not find a way around that other than not using the default sticker setting and trying to do things manually. I mean, all in all, for a $70 attachment that now lets you cut things out and draw, we didn't even get into the drawing, but honestly, I'm like too tired. So I'm gonna just tinker with this on my own. And if I discover any really cool things, I'll make a video about that. I do really like how easy it is to swap this out. So especially on my H2C where it's kind of going back and forth, then I think this will actually be really fun. And I have a feeling I've got a lot to learn about this. So please feel free to educate me if you need to, because I definitely need me some education.